history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Focus on Liberia. This is our show, Between the Headlines. And in tonight's edition, we are going to be sitting down with the Liberia Development Initiative, Liberia Educational Development Initiative, LEDI for short. And we're going to be discussing the mission and vision of this organization. Also, we're going to be discussing the upcoming Gala and what they intend to accomplish. Again, welcome to the show. I am joined by the co-founder and the chair lady of the board of directors, Madam Joanne Curran Dakote. Joanne, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Brother Dennis, we appreciate this opportunity. I personally appreciate the opportunity to speak with your guest on Focus on Liberia. It's an honor to be on the show.
Thank you so much. We're also joined by Mr. Fode Dole. Fode is a FIFA licensed sports agent and owner of A+ Sports Performance Center. And Fode is here as part of LEDI. Fode, we are so happy to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brother Dennis. I'm very glad to be here, and thanks for the opportunity for us to be able to share what we're trying to do over here. Always say it's a work of God. We're here to serve our country and our people. Thank you very much for giving us the platform, and thanks to my colleagues, Joanne and Erica as well.
Thank you so much. Let me also welcome Erica Mitchell. Erica is on the Atlanta Board of Education. She's a board member and event host for committee members. She's also part of the Liberia Economic Development Initiative. Erica, we're glad to have you. Welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Joanne, for having me involved with this extraordinary project. As a school board member, we support education and literacy, and the main focus for us is the library, the gift to Liberia, and I'm happy to be a part of the project. Thank you for having me this evening.
We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. Again, this is Focus on Liberia, and we are in conversation with the Liberia Economic Development Initiative, a Cleveland, Ohio-based 501c3 organization. We'll soon be joined by also the co-founder, Mr. Rufus Dakote. He's joining us, having some technical issues there in the background. So Rufus is going to be here very soon. Well, Liberians in the diaspora and some of us, always we've been asked, what are you doing? You're just sitting in America. So people know that after the war, there has been a lot of challenges for our country. And Liberians, individuals, or as a group, they have found ways to be able to help. One of such groups is the Liberia Economic Development Initiative, LEDI. So welcome to the show. We're going to be talking about LEDI. So let me start with Joanne. All of you, this is your first time on the show, first time on Focus on Liberia. So in a special way, I want to give you a bottle of water and say, welcome, feel at home, and let's talk.
Cheers.
Thank you. So let me start with Joanne. For some watching us now, tell us, what is LEDI?
Yes, so thank you for that amazing introduction. Before I tell you about LEDI, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Liberia, but raised in the United States. And growing up in the United States, I did see that there was a lot of need in Liberia, specifically after the Civil War, during the Civil War and after the Civil War. When it ended, I could not think of a better way to give back than to be the change that I wanted to see by helping those who are most in need. And that was the beginning of what is now Liberia Economic Development Initiative. which is a 501c3 tax-exempt, U.S.-based, and frankly, an international nonprofit, where our motto is to reduce poverty and change lives. And we do so through various initiatives ranging from education to healthcare to sister city connections and sisterly institution connections. We also have initiatives for infrastructure. And one of those key areas and goals this year is to complete a project that is near and dear to our hearts. LEDI was established in 2007. Since then, our track record is solid. We have provided hundreds of scholarships, almost close to 1,000 at this point, over 750. We have provided humanitarian aid. We have given food. We have given resources ranging from medical supplies to food, humanitarian kits to birthing kits. But one of the things that we saw that was lingering from a root cause perspective is the need for literacy in Liberia. Just quickly to share a few very important statistics, we've learned in doing this work that over 50% of the population in Liberia is under the age of 25. So it's a very, very young nation. Now, when you add the fact that over 50% of our young people, the young people in Liberia, are illiterate, you see that there are huge issues because it's hard to contribute to the vitality, your own personal vitality, as well as the economic development of your country if you are not literate. So we decided that we could do something, which is to create and to construct a modern public library and technology center that would serve as a university to the people, that would give them access to resources. And so that's how and why we started this work.
And Joanne, hold your thought. We want to go, because all these things you were mentioning, they're very, very interesting and dear to my heart. So I want us to take time to go into them one by one. Let me bring in Cody to just say something about himself too and his connection with LEDI, how you got involved, and somebody may ask, what are you doing here?
Well, blessing to Sister Joanne and my good friend Erica as well. I'm from Liberia, live in the United States, Atlanta. But my involvement I fell in love with the ideas that Sister Joanne brought on, the fact to construct and elaborate in our country. Doesn't matter where it is, but it's for the people of Liberia. Growing up, I used to walk from Benson Street to go to the U.S. Library, and just to go and sit down, spend hours to read books and stuff like that, which benefited me. So when she told me about the ideas, giving back to our people, I mean, it touched my heart because I feel that I'm a servant myself. I always love to give back to my people. I've started a program a long time ago where I help, African, not just Liberian, get scholarships, help them, with college scholarship, introduce them to colleges and stuff like that. Those athletes and come to the United States and come to school. So not just Liberians, from Ghana, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, all around. So this is a very important thing to my heart, helping my people in Liberia to be able to construct that library. It will change a lot of life in our country. So this is a very important area for me.
Thank you so much. So you were in that queue to walk into USIS for books.
Absolutely.
I was in that line. I remember that very well.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Let's talk to Erica about Erica, a little bit about yourself and how you got connected with LEDI.
Yes. So I am connected to LEDI through Joanne, who to me, I consider a good friend, with her passion and dedication and wanting to advocate for literacy for the people of Liberia. I am born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am of African descent, of course, but I feel that as an African American, we have to work with our African brothers and sisters to support them and to help them with their initiatives, because we are part of the continent, even though we've been displaced for 400 years. But it's our duty to help each other and to embrace one another culturally, as well as, support. So for me being a school board member, we really advocate to educate our students, but more so the literacy project, the gift of literacy to Liberia with the library is near and dear to my heart, because I feel that if you want to change the world, you can change the world through education, and literacy is that part. So that's why I'm involved.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Joanne, while we wait for Rufa. So we're talking about LEDI. So I was reading through your website, and just like you said, right, LEDI is the Economic Development Initiative. That's the Liberia Economic Development Initiative. And part of the reason why you started this organization is to change lives, to reduce poverty. And someone watching us now and saying that, as you said, you were born in Liberia but raised here, how did why you felt the need? Because, even from the way you're talking, right, it's like, okay, people are from Liberia. Yes, they're from Liberia, but hey, I'm a young person, I'm here, let me live my life and let me go on. What about what you saw going on in Liberia that really made you think that, yes, LEDI is the way to go?
Yeah, so I consider myself a servant leader, is how I'm wired. But specific to your question, I have a lineage of people in my family on both sides who believe in servant leadership, and not just as a means to get something for themselves, but truly as a means to help make the world a better place. My grandmother, who passed away last year at the age of 102, Edith Curran, served people in her hometown of Zozo. And she was a midwife that delivered thousands of babies. There's so many babies named Edith, named after her. And she used her gift not only to save lives, the lives of many babies through maternal health, but she also did so by educating all the children, her brothers and sisters' children, as well as strangers in the community. And many people can attest to that. On the other side of my family, you have Bishop Kula, who's my grandfather, maternal grandfather. He's a servant leader through religious means, and both of my parents are firstborns. And so I watched them personally, even during the war in Liberia that lasted over 15 years, invest of themselves and sacrifice of themselves. My mother even went to Liberia during the heart of the war to deliver supplies to people. So I remember being a teenager in Atlanta and seeing the news, and we will all run around the TV and see, are our relatives impacted? What happened? So even though there is this sentiment sometimes in Liberia that if you didn't live on the ground, there's a detachment, we felt very, very, very vicariously connected to what was going on, and we're deeply traumatized. So the first thing is, when peace was regained in Liberia, the first thing I could think of is, what can I do to make a difference? Now, I was someone who graduated from the university, had student loans, didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, but I always believed in the power of personal agency, that one person can do something. And I met Rufus, who also shared that belief. Unlike myself, he's the co-founder, but he lived, and he'll tell his own story, but he survived the war and came to the United States as an adult. But when we met each other, I had a political science background and he had an economics background. And all we knew was that there was something that we could do and we wanted to make a difference. So the example has been set through there are more examples through my family I could have cited. But it's also just for our love of helping people. And I've advocated not just for Liberians, but for all people over the years. But when this cause happened to the nation in which I was born, and seeing that Liberia went from being one of the wealthiest countries and prominent countries in the world to the fourth poorest today, and for the past decade, I know that there's a lot that each and every person can do to make a difference beyond talk, beyond debate, beyond politics, true servant leadership, trying to make a difference. And so that's what we endeavor to do.
Thank you so much. And talking about Rufus, the co-founder, he's here. Rufus, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Also, your first time. We're glad to have you.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Thank you for inviting us. We also want to thank your listening audience for giving us the opportunity to come and share with them the vision and the work that LEDI has been doing in our upcoming 2022 International Life Changer Award and Liberia Bicentennial Celebration Gala. I'm happy to be here and look forward to engaging.
Thank you. So we started by asking about LEDI. So Joanne was able to share her story, how LEDI got started. I want to hear yours because unlike Joanne, who was raised here practically, you survived the war and you came to the United States. You had the passion to give back, and you met Joanne, who also shares similar passion. Walk me through the story for someone who does not know and how all this gave rise to LEDI and what LEDI is doing today.
All of this came from out of the desire to make a change in your environment. I grew up, I had a difficult childhood. I grew up born in Sino County, and at the age of 10, my parents realized that they couldn't even afford me, going to school. So probably if I was still with my parents by this time, I would have been in one of the villages right now as a town chief or something, and we would not be having this conversation. So I, left my parents at a very early age to go to school, and it was difficult. Every day, going to Newport Junior High School from Nikutan, I would walk for about 3 hours to go to school, 3 hours to come back hungry. And then I started with Tottenham High. And then, it just got tougher and tougher. And then when the war came, I grew, I was in the war, and there were a lot of devastation. There were a lot of people being killed. And my father also left in the war, he got killed. My siblings got killed. And I was angry, and I felt that it was not fair. And even myself, came close to my grave for more than 7 times, and God lifted me out of those situations. But then I sat and said, look, man, what's going on in Liberia? Why would people destroy their country so much? Why would people destroy each other? And it just dawned on me that economic empowerment was the key to changing the lives of people, to making Liberia better. So instead of going to fight, I chose to at least educate people, to economically empower people. That's how LEDI was born, just to make sure that other people that were hurting people, right, could be empowered in such a way that they was not hurt future generation. That was my desire.
Wow. I mean, don't make me relive the war, Rufus, because exactly that's exactly the story of many Liberians. And this empowerment, you are being able to effectively share this vision with others. And part of the way you have chosen to empower, and Joanne was talking about that earlier, part of the way you have chosen to do this is through a variety of means. But let me go back to Erica, because this is something that you kind of bought into, that this was something that you can support. Tell me, how do you relate to that? And why do you think that you should be able to also give back? Yes, you are of African descent, but not trying to discriminate, but you are not from Liberia, but you saw this and say, this is something that I have to do. That is profound. I want you to tell me that story and for our listeners to hear about it, because there are some of us from Liberia who are not even part of this, right? And here you are.
Yes. For me, I believe, even though I'm not Liberian, I am of African descent. I think it's our responsibility to help and connect with each other. Even though African Americans, some have been disconnected, majority have been disconnected for 400 years or so, I believe it's our responsibility to help our African brothers and sisters. I believe we owe it to our ancestors who had to sacrifice and was enslaved in the United States, which built this country. So we're able to do certain things because of their sacrifice, and to connect back support is very meaningful to me, and I think it's something that I'm passionate about because I know the importance of literacy and education. And if you can educate a country, you can build a country, you can sustain a country, you can build economic development, you can build colleges and universities. There's so much that you can do through education, and supporting the project for the Library of Liberia is very important to that cause. Kids need, and adults need, a place where they can go and read and learn. Not only is the library will have books, it will have ways for the citizens to connect through the internet, to research, to do multiple things. And I think it's important because that's what's going to connect us all. And that's why I'm supporting this project. And I just feel like, me being African American and of African descent, it's important that I connect with the continent of Africa in a way that I can support their cause. And with Joanne sharing this with me, I was just like, what can I do to help? And that's why I want to be involved.
Thank you so much. That is powerful. If you, Mr. Dollar, if you can adjust your camera a little bit so your body can move upward. Some perfect. All right. And before I come to you, Mr. Dollar, let me go back to Joanne. Joanne, you started a story about all the things that LEDI is involved in for this economic development, purpose, right? For this empowerment. And one of the things, anytime I think LEDI, even though LEDI does a lot of things, right? Every time I think LEDI, I think library. And see my man Rufus there with you all the way. See the plan. I see this. I see that. So let's go over a little bit about what LEDI does with LEDI boots on the ground in Liberia, including this library. We'll talk more about the library.
So thank you for that. As I shared, we have 6 different initiatives that LEDI focuses on, or that we have focused on over the past 15 years. They range from business development. Many people don't know that since the war, there are people who crush rocks to this day. And we have sponsored former rock crushers into small business owners. We have provided humanitarian aid. We've partnered with organizations such as Cleveland State University, for example, during Ebola time, to send thousands of dollars of medical supplies, humanitarian aid. In fact, Rufus, while everybody was running away from Liberia, he actually hand delivered those supplies in Liberia. I was furious with him. I said, you don't have to go there. You can just send it, because it was so scary at that time. And even with the pandemic, face mask, food, delivery services, dropping off to the most needed, youth development, partnering with people who do radio programs to lift the kids up. Honorable Erica Mitchell, Y. Mitchell, has donated books that we've delivered, as well as other people. So it's good that we've done a great job of elevating the library, though, because of all these amazing things that we do, and that our friends of LEDI support us to do. I definitely want to thank all those who support the work of LEDI, especially those who are financial contributors. Our flagship project is, in fact, the library. So I'm so glad that we've done a great job in branding that, because what we realize is our organization is called Liberia Economic Development Initiative. But the bedrock of economic development is literacy. You know, I work in an area professionally called community and economic development. And doing this work, I've learned that when people, let's say in the United States, when they talk about economic development, they talk about things like financial literacy. They talk about economic mobility and resilience. They talk about workforce development, how to train up so that people are able to work. None of those conversations can be had with people who are functionally or actually illiterate. So the I won't call it a panacea, but it's very important that the groundwork, the foundation for which everything else is built, is firmly established, and that foundation is extremely weak to non-existent. So this is not about naming and shaming or even pointing a finger. This is about what can we do? And what we can do is to have people, especially at this time in history, who have goodwill towards Liberia, to say, join us. How many nations in Africa are turning 200 years? How many nations in Africa are even celebrating over 100 years of independence? Not one. Liberia wears a very distinctive hat, not only for Africa, but for the entire world. If I may remind the listening and viewing audience that there was a time that almost every Black person on this planet was in some way in bondage. On the continent, there was a scramble for Africa, and Africa was divided into colonial blocks: the Portuguese, the British, the Dutch, the French, you name it. Off the continent, there was slavery or indentured servitude. There was a time in 1822, flawed or not, that Liberia represented the only shining star for people who are in bondage, Black people, African people, all around the world, that one day you can be free. One day you can have independence. One day there's a better light. And just because a civil war happened doesn't mean that that light is not still shining. But we just have to flame the embers and get that fire to glow again. And so literacy is that light. In Liberia, the liberty, all of it aligns. The name is actually liberty. We just have to reclaim exactly what the country's destiny is, which is to be a light of the world and a light for Africa. And I believe that it's the only nation in the world that was established for Black people. Let us not forget that. And so we can divide ourselves a million ways into millions of pieces, or we can unite and do things to help our people move forward and to be that light that Africa and the world is hoping for us to be. So literacy is a key part in that. And our gazes are focused, and we know that it's going to happen this year. That library will be completed.
Yeah. And so you Bishop Kula granddaughter for true.
Why you say
I mean,
that?
it's like you are preaching to me now. Thank you so much for that. And I know when Fode heard that, that's some of the things. So talking about literacy, and you have a lot of things in the pipeline. That's a good way to transition to that. So let me play a little clip of this, talking about literacy and how this is the best way to give. Rufus, I want you to speak to that. And the last question there is, will you help? You've showed all these things about how this project is going to improve life. And the last question there is, will you help? Talk to me more about that.
Yeah, Dennis, just before I answer that question, I just wanted to give you specifics on what LEDI has been doing in addition to what Joanne mentioned. Again, poverty affects Liberia in so many ways, and economic empowerment, is targeted in so many ways. So what we did, we started to give scholarships. From the time we started our organization up to today, we have given 630 scholarships to impoverished students. We have also given over 100 business grants to small businesses, mostly women. We have also given over 560 birthing kits. There are some ladies when they go out there to deliver in the hospitals. Sometimes they lose their children, sometimes they lose their own lives, or because the hospital does not have money to buy drugs. They will tell the family husband or family members, go and get this drug, get XYZ, get gloves and stuff before we can deliver you. And by the time the family go look for money and come back, that woman has already given birth. Probably she's dead, or the child has died. So we just say, okay, you know what? We go to the hospital, pay the money to the hospital, and any lady that come in to give birth, you can just draw down on that money, pay her bills, so that the family will not go through that. So we save life through that. So we have given over 560. During the war, we give over, not the war, I'm sorry, but the COVID time.
Oh, COVID.
We give over 1,000 face masks. We also fed people. We gave over 5,000 meals, in Liberia. And then in the United States, where we are based, we also give over 2,000 meals to people affected from COVID. So there are a lot of stuff that we have been doing. Now, where we are right now, Dennis, we have been determined to construct this library as a gift to our country. Ordinary people like us decided to get together, and we are so excited that you started that journey with us some years ago. Fode, Erica, and a lot of people who have come. We are all ordinary people trying to do extraordinary things. And this library we're building, Dennis, is going to be one of the biggest libraries, if my recollection is right, maybe in the Mono River Union, between Sierra Leone, Guinea, and maybe Ivory Coast. And the reason we're building this library, which sits on about 1.3 acres of land itself, just the library, not a parking lot, not anything, it sits on 1.3 acres of land, is because we are trying to inspire future infrastructure in the country. We want to build for the future, not today. We want to empower people in a profound and bigger way so that we can scale in terms of the economic empowerment we want to give people. So, we want to encourage Liberians, fellow Liberians. We want to encourage, African Americans. We want to encourage just Americans in general. We want to encourage everyone to join us on this journey to construct this library. We want to do it as private citizens, working together to help our country to be developed, And one of the reasons, and I will pause pretty soon, Dennis, but one of the reasons that we are building this library, in addition to my own personal story, is that our country is having some challenges in terms of where we want to be. And when you live in your community and you don't like stuff, you don't like how things are going, it is important, in addition to your corporate social responsibility. That is when you work for your company, what you do, what your company does for you. It is also good, we as individuals, to invoke our private social responsibilities to our community, to give back, to do things. So that's why we want to push this. We are pushing this library. It costs $1.5 million. We don't have the money. Joanne and myself spend most of our own personal income on this. We have spent significantly on this, and we will continue to spend on it while we have, you, Forty, Erica, and our many sponsors helping us on this journey.
Thank you. And we're going to quickly go to the Gala, but before that, I just want to stress that up to now, LEDI has provided over, and Joanne made that correction, over 750 scholarships, over 100 business grants, mainly to women, and 560 birthing kits. There was a reverend on this show who came and said, well, most of the time when mothers go to these hospitals to give birth, because they cannot afford, so even you give birth and this is supposed to be a beautiful time. I can remember when my first child was born, all you want to do is to take that baby home, but mothers are not, on top of not the baby or the mother losing their life, even if they are able to give birth successfully, they are not able to go home because they are owing the hospital. And so instead of celebrating that new baby, you are stranded. And Reverend Port had a birthday and said, instead of celebrating a birthday, I'm going to pay the fees or the bills of these mothers. I mean, and you take that for granted. How much for each? So he was around $200 can pay the bills for X number of mothers. So when you say birthing kids, I could really, really relate. And this is beautiful. I too, and people continue to hear my story. I was born in a village behind a house on plantain leaf. I walked across 4 creeks to get to the nearest school. And yeah, am I, living, I'm thankful to God, I'm considered middle class in the United States. And so if I didn't have a sister who came here first to at least make me to eat a little bit, so somebody has helped us along the way. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Further, you are in a very good area, that is sports. The young population in Liberia is, maybe Rufus can correct me if I'm wrong, 60% or more. So anything that have to do with library, first, the young people you are targeting. So you are well placed to do this. How do you think your role as a sports guy, a FIFA license or sports agent, and how do you think your role as in this sports business, connecting with young people, is able to be a help to the vision of LEDI?
Well, Brother Rufus and Sister Joanne will well explain the goals and purpose of LEDIS already. But to answer your questions, they both sing together because the most important things, in our lives is education is very, very important tools for us. No matter what you are, I'm a FIFA agent, I'm a sports agent, but my emphasis is education. That's why I try to encourage the young people. If you want to come to the United States, most of them want to go to Europe or they want to come to the US, they want to play, they want to be a pro player. I would say go to school because it makes it easy for you to be able to get a scholarship. So working along with LEDI, we want to encourage that because the library will create a place for that. We want to encourage the kids, even they can go out there, study the SAT, learn the SAT, and then be able to take the exam right in Liberia there, and then it makes it easy for us to help the young people, bring them up. Out of 100 kids that go to play, to want to become a pro, it's 5%. So not everybody will become a professional player. I have helped so many people over here that come to the United States to become a professional player, but most of them end up getting a scholarship, they end up going to school, and they didn't even continue their career as a pro player. They got jobs that pay them well. So sometimes we focus just on one thing, but education can change everything for us. So the fact that we are taking this project to build this library, like I said, it's a life-changing thing. I'm going to encourage, I want to help athletes, but I want to help mainly student athletes. So if I can help guys to be able to get both skills, but the education will take you far away, So that's my way of contributing more to LEDI and be able to encourage, get more, before we were growing up, a soccer player was considered grown-up boys.
Right.
But if we can encourage them and say, look, get in school. When you get education, you can be able to go to America. So that will be a motivation for them. And then if we can, and then not just saying that, but creating the environment, creating a library where they can go and sit down. And like I said, the next thing we'll be doing our project, when the library is built, we encourage you guys to go there to learn, to teach them the basic skills, mathematics, English, and stuff like that. So they can prepare themselves to take the SAT, the SAT, and I think that would be a great way to change the literacy in our country. Most other thing that happening in our country today is lack of education.
Yeah.
And not just going to college and get degrees, but lack of proper education. So if we can create that environment, I think it will make a big difference for our country and Africa as a whole.
Thank you so much. We have people here are commenting. This one from Jackson Coco say, thanks LEDI International for this great initiative in my home county. Millionaire me say, love what you are all doing. And come on, Joe Colley, congratulations, Rufus and team, for this great initiative. And come on, Joe Colley, continue. Thanks for selecting Bond County to build a library. Our Bond County community in the USA is grateful for your work. We will connect with you for possible collaboration. Bring it on. Peter saying congratulations. Virian Powerhouse say thanks you all. Those are few of the comments. And so Liberia in 1822 was founded when liberated of Africans here in the United States. People call them free slaves. Most of them were born free, went to Liberia and established this country as the beacon of hope for all free people. So this year, from that time to now, is going to be 200 years. You are having a program saying you're going to be 200 years, and what a gift to give back to the country. And that gift is the gift of literacy. So that's a good segue to our next one we're going to talk about is your program coming up. And I want people to take a listen.
Libraries empower the community with education. Liberia Economic Development Initiative, LEDI, is hosting the International Life Changers Awards and Liberia's Bicentennial to celebrate LEDI building the country's first modern public library and technology center. Join event host Roland Martin. Our honorees, Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant, Zernona Clayton, Thomas Dorch Jr., Dana Lupton, Dr. Tammy Graysteele, on October 29th at the CNN Center, Atlanta. There are no public libraries in Liberia, but together we can change that. Get tickets at ledinow.org.
Joanne, give us more. You are having this program, the Life Changes Award, and
Yes.
this is going to coincide. It also will be the celebration of Liberia's Bicentennial. You are using this to say, let's give back literacy.
Yes,
I
yes.
love that. Tell me more.
Thank you. So again, one of the greatest impacts we could believe that can happen to Liberia is for Liberia to receive the gift of literacy. It's a gift that will keep on giving from one generation to the next. As you already stated, this is the 200th birthday of Liberia, the establishment. LEDI for the past 7 years has had an event called the International Life Changers Awards where we celebrate people who are doing amazing things throughout the world and making an impact. This year, we had our event planned as normal, but instead of just having the International Life Changers Award, we could not ignore the fact that Liberia turned 200 years old. The next time Liberia turns 200 years old, none of us will be around. So it's truly a historic landmark. And we're grateful that we can celebrate and bring people together to celebrate with us this historic milestone. Frankly, because the United States is part of the origin of Liberia, this is a milestone for Liberia as a nation, and it's also a milestone for the United States as well. So we're bringing people together to celebrate this bicentennial. We know that, and I'm learning more and more that a lot of people feel that different ways about the bicentennial, and that's fine, but we cannot deny that a nation 200 years ago was birthed. Whether altruistically or not, it was birthed. And so that's something worth celebrating. The fact that we are still here. There are nations that were founded and no longer exist, but Liberia is a resilient nation and is still here. When people left the United States and settled in Liberia some 200 years ago, there was a lot that happened between now and this time, and we all continue to see various ebbs and flows that the country has been through. But one of the things that I know is that the people of Liberia are resilient. So this will be a celebration, again, of people who are doing phenomenal work, but also people who have an interest in giving and showing goodwill to Liberia. So we want to ask all of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, all of our brothers and sisters in Europe, in the United States, in South America, and Asia, in Liberia, on people who are in Rwanda and Uganda and Nigeria and Ghana. Be a part of helping us to give this gift of literacy to Liberia, because Liberia, we believe, can do great things with that gift of literacy and will do great things. So this celebration is going to be on October 29th. It's very, very much coming, right around the corner. If you want to be a part of this, don't delay. We want to hear from you. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia at the Omni at CNN Center. So be a part. There's going to be a wonderful array of things happening that night, all to celebrate Liberia. So we hope that you will be a part and join us.
Yeah, thank you. Rufus, I want you to speak to that bicentennial, right? That connection, because sometimes we lose sight that Liberia was founded for the purpose of liberty, to be that beacon of hope, the Lone Star in Africa, right? And people came from the United States. Sometimes we cannot lose sight of that connection. I don't see that has strong. I've seen African Americans that have come on this platform to say, we see ourselves as Liberians. We want to connect. This is the place that our great-grandparents went, or great-great-grandparents went there, and their graves are there. We want to go back. We want to connect with, like, how significant is this celebration to that African-American and Liberia relationship?
And thank you, thank you, Dennis. Like Joanne said, we have been having our event over the past 6 years. This is the 7th year, and we've been doing that in Cleveland, Ohio, as a private organization. This year, given the significance of the bicentennial, given the level of patriotism that we all need to embrace around our country, we decided that as a private organization, we will honor the history and the milestone, this great milestone of our country, in a profound and significant way. And we decided that to ensure that we as Liberians are proud people, we are great people, that we can achieve a lot. Based on that, we decided to take this event to the CNN Center. We could have taken this event any other place, on a university campus or any place. But for the respect that we have for our country, for the level of patriotism, and I don't want to go into anything else. At the end of the day, whether we have confusion, we have dialogue on the issues of Liberia. At the end of the day, if there is no library in Liberia, nobody can debate that. Yeah. If Liberia Bicentennial is 200 years this year, there is nobody that can debate that. And we as Liberians, we need to find a way to make sure that we can tell our story, the amazing story of Liberia, most especially Liberia being a country that came from the United States. When the idea of the Bicentennial was birthed, the goal was to attract African Americans to Liberia, to improve tourism, to improve investment, and to strengthen the relationship between Liberia and the U.S. Because you find a lot of African Americans going to Ghana, and not to take away from Ghana, but Liberia is the actual land of return. So when the Bicentennial was held in Liberia, where I also play a little part, we decided to also take the Bicentennial to the United States so that the school teacher in the US, the bus driver, the taxi driver, the CEO, who did not know much about Liberia can now experience Liberia. That's why we brought the Bicentennial and added it on to our organization event, took it to, or have taken it to this, CNN Center, the prestigious building, because Liberia means better. We are competitive people. We are profound people. We need to treat ourselves with honor and respect. So it's not, we will appreciate that people can use this Bicentennial to support LEDI.
It looked like he froze. If I may chime in really, really quickly, I think one of the things that I really want to make sure that we're clear on with the Bicentennial is Liberia Economic Development is an international, but a US-based nonprofit. And the majority of our work, I would say 90% to 95% of our work take place in Liberia.
Right.
And so the country by which that's benefiting from the work that you do, it cannot have a significant milestone and it goes unnoticed because it would be glaring. So we knew that the people that we reach out to, the people in the diaspora, Liberians and people of all races and nationality, that they would want to be a part of something to celebrate Liberia because they have been investing in LEDI and investing in our work. And so this was an opportunity, a small way, and this is an opportunity in a small way for us all to gather around a mission to reduce poverty and change lives and to help our people, but most of all to celebrate Liberian culture in some small way and to bring our brothers and sisters along with us in that journey. You heard about the honorees. I don't want to end this program without bringing our honorees to bear. Annually, when we have our International Life Changers Awards, like again this year when we host it, we typically have nomination cards at the event on the table, and people are welcome to nominate honorees from all over, all stripes, any race, any nationality, but people who are doing things to lift up people economically, socially at a very high level. And so we are so proud that this year that we have these distinguished International Life Changer Award honorees. We have Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant, who's the pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. We were pleasantly surprised to learn that he went to high school in Liberia. So he has a connection there and a personal story and a profound love for the people of Liberia. We also have Zernona Clayton. Zernona Clayton she used to work for CNN, but she's the president and founder of the Trumpet Awards and a civil rights activist. that marched in the street and helped support people, like a lot of the greats that we've heard about. We have Dana Lupton. Dana Lupton is someone that I met at Oprah Vision 2020. And she takes urban children, sometimes impoverished Black children in the United States, and teaches them how to dance professionally. We have Tammy Gray Steele, who is the president of the National Women in Agriculture Association. One of the most profound things about her is that she's done work all over the continent, but not in Liberia. And Liberia is a country that should be able to feed itself. So we're hoping by elevating that platform, people in Liberia will say, wow, we've taken agriculture for granted. This is something we can do. This is something that's making people viable and so forth. And then the last person, but not the least, is Tommy Dorch Jr., who's the president of 100 Black Men and serving as our honorary co-chair for this event. So we want to ask you, please be a part of networking as well as celebrating Liberia's bicentennial.
Thank you. And I'll come to you, Fode. Let me read a few comments here again. This one from J. Alexander Tote says, Mr. Rufus Dakote, I'm very proud of you and your wife for this great initiative that you are currently taking to impact the lives of our people. I can still remember back in 2015 when you contacted me about this project, and I'm excited that you are still on course. Abraham Scientist Kamara said, thank you, Fode, for this great initiative. If many Liberians out of Liberia can think like this, Liberia will get better. And Jefferson is watching us from South Korea. Say, where is the site in Banga located? Anthony Gala is watching us from Carwell. So for that, this award at CNN Center is coming to your town.
Yes, I'm very honored and proud of that because Joanne just mentioned. I think this is a great way of bridging the gap because sometimes too, like Brother Rufus said, he's not taking anything over from Ghana or Nigeria. You see a lot of African American going to do DNA. They say, oh, I'm from Ghana, I'm from this, but with Liberia, with the connection that they have to Liberia, that story need to be told. And this is a great way to do it in the city of the Black city of the United States, in Atlanta. We also want to share that with them, educate our brothers and sisters, African Americans over here, to know about Liberia, because our stories are not told. We need to tell the story to a lot of African Americans to understand. A lot of times you see African American, do you know about Liberia? They don't know. They know about Ghana, they know about Nigeria. So all of us here, it takes all of us to support the cause. And there's so many Liberians over here, very educated Liberians, successful people. Let's put our hands together to support the cause here any way you can. If you can't be present, make a donation, make a small donation to LEDI, because we're serving for to lift our country, because see, everybody else will be helping their home. This is the only home we have. I don't care how long we stay here. We are still Liberian, so we need to support the cause of the good cause. And if you are in Atlanta, if you're in the United States, you're able to attend the event. It would be great. You're well invited. But let's put our hands together and try to help and support our only motherland.
Thank you, and good words. Rufus, maybe when I give a parable, then he think I'm so old. But it says, no matter how long the storm stays in the water, it's never turned to a fish. So no matter how long we stay here, fully, I'm trying to agree with you. Mm-hmm. We are Liberians, and we have to give back. If we don't, we will never be Americans, no matter how many times you naturalize. You will be American on paper, but that Liberianness, that taking the rice and Ropede, or on the edges of the palm border path, we will never leave that. And also, Rufus talk about, library. There are a lot of things that divide us. There are a lot of things that we can disagree about. There are a lot of things that we have differences about. But when it comes to reading and writing, we are all united. When it comes to going to the library and reading a book, I learned they were asking Michael Jordan whether he was Republican or Democrat. And he said both Republican and Democrat wear sneakers, right? So no matter, because Michael Jordan sells sneakers. So everything that everyone, whether you are this party or that party, agree on is you can put sneakers on your feet the same way. All of us, no matter which ethnic group you come from, which political party you belong to, which economic class, all that we all agree is we need to read and write. And if we can read and write, we can change the world. And that's what Liberia needs. So really, I appreciate what you are doing, and thank you so much. Let's talk more about this this gala at CNN Center. People watching here now, they want to get tickets. I learned that Roland Martin, from what we say here, is going to be hosting. That's a big deal. So let's talk about the tickets, the sale, who is invited, how can we get ticket, and why is it important that every Liberian, and if you are living as far as Alaska, even if you are not coming, what support can you give?
So thank you for that. Rufus was so instrumental in getting Roland Martin to understand the historical significance between the United States and Liberia, and helped him to see the value in spending of his time and being a part of our event. So we're so proud to have him host and MC this event. Again, October 29th, easy way to remember, is the last Saturday of October. So it's coming right around the corner. And the CNN Center, Omni at CNN Center, is one of those venues. It's almost like a wedding. They want to make sure they know ahead of time who's coming. So if you have intentions to come, we need to know, please, RSVP, buy your ticket by or before the 15th of this month, so we will know you're coming, so we can plan and have your seat, because one of the most important people that can attend this event is you. The website to do so is www.ledifundraiser.org, www.ledifundraiser.org. There, when you go, you click on more information, you can scroll down, purchase a ticket, become a sponsor, or make a donation. All of these things will be greatly, greatly appreciated. And thank you for showing that. www.ledifundraiser.org. If you want to learn more about some of these things that we've shared about, see the pictures of the progress of the library, there's also a link from our main website at www.LEDI, like what time is it right now, ledinow.org, and you can go there and learn about our work and how far we've come. One of the things I do want to clarify is that LEDI is an organization that is about bringing all people, all races of goodwill to help the people of Liberia. The Bicentennial's emphasis is connecting African Americans to the continent and to Liberia. But I do want to say that Liberia Economic Development Initiative and even our honorees, they are well represented from all stripes of life. And we bring as many people, all races, all people together to help us because we know that together we can do more. So I do want to make sure that if you are watching and you're African American, you're Caucasian, you're Asian, you're African, you're from the Gambia, it doesn't matter. You can be a part of our journey to reduce poverty and change lives for the people in Liberia. And we thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Rufus, I'm coming to you. Let me read this from Millionaire Man, who is donating $10. He said, what your guests are saying is absolutely correct. If more African Americans knew about our connection with Liberia, believe the interest would be way greater. We just don't know. So Rufus, go ahead, make your comments, and then we'll go around the room to conclude this discussion tonight. But make your point first.
So I want to make a call to our fellow Liberians to join us on this journey. to celebrate our country's bicentennial. And the reason we are calling on Liberians is that self-respect permeates in every aspect of our life. Self-determination is a bedrock to success for other people to crowd into your space. If you give to yourself that significance and importance that you are very important, and you want people to see you as an important person, you have to demonstrate that. Liberia, the relationship between the US and Liberia, we all cry about it, that it is not where we want it to be. But I tell you what, fellow Liberians, Ghana is not just attracting African Americans into Liberia all because African Americans just want to go to Ghana. No. Ghanaians, through different initiatives, through their tourism efforts, through organizations they call, or their efforts called the Joseph movement, they are into the churches of African Americans. They are into the organizations of African Americans. They are inviting African Americans. They are grouping and establishing these kinds of platforms that LEDI is establishing to attract African Americans. So when you see these kinds of effort, we as Liberians, we need to support. Roland Martin, when we discussed about the bicentennial, he was very excited. He said, look, I think I can help attract African Americans. Let's go to the big cities. Let's go to Maryland. Let's go to, Atlanta. Let's go to Minnesota. Because when we have the event, we can attract a lot of Liberians. So we said, okay, we'll go to Atlanta. So this is an opportunity now to step up. Because if guys at Roland Mountain believe that the bicentennial is important to bring African Americans and Liberians together, then we as Liberians need to see that, Dennis. We would like to see Dennis there. We would like to see Forty there. We would like to see the churches, the Liberian churches. We would like to see the soccer clubs. We would like to see business owners, the professionals. We would like to see everybody that are around Atlanta there, even people who are more patriotic, and not just being patriotic, but who see the need that Liberia should shine at this point in time. We are encouraging you to come because the whole area now we are inviting. We have invited a lot of people from government officials, from city council members, from the governor to officials in Liberia, because it's a holistic approach for everybody to come. And I'm only saying this to make the emphasis that if you do not celebrate yourself, people will not see you that way. If you do not say I'm worthy, I'm profound, people would not find you to be profound. This is an opportunity for us to showcase our country while helping also to impact development in our country. Because when the library is built, Dennis, this will be this library of the future. This library will be nothing like what you have seen in Liberia. And the reason we decided to make it big and all of that is because we want to honor our country with future development. Not today, not yesterday. There are some people who say, oh, Rufus, Joanne, why don't you guys go and build some little zinc shack, some little, Pontage horse, or why are you building such a big stuff? And we said, look, we are a big country. We are a little country, but we got big heart. And it doesn't matter, even if it would take us 1 million years to complete this. Let Liberia be that beacon of hope. Let people see development in Liberia and respect our country and get attracted to our country. So let's all of us come to the CNN Center and come and support Liberia during this bicentennial, and also support development in our country.
Thank you. Few more comments here, and then we're going to draw down the curtains for the night. Michael Alex Williams said, thanks for the initiative to elevate the importance of education, health, and eliminate poverty in Liberia. Mountain Zenway, hello all. I'm very proud of Mr. and Mrs. Dakote. Also, thanks to the Everywhere family for using your platform to support LEDI. I pray and hope that the Liberian government could support LEDI in building the first modern library. Yvette Cephas is watching. And, LEDI mentioned, and that's why, LEDI mentioned what LEDI is doing also coincide with what FOL tries to accomplish here. A lot of the time you see platform is all politics, right? It's all just one thing. And we are a country, we are a big country, right? So somebody asked me, oh, Liberia, yeah, the civil war is over now. You guys are, I said, no, the same way you talk about inflation, there's inflation in Liberia. The same way you talk about economics, you talk about music, you talk about everything that every country talk about, we want to talk about it, right? Because we are a big country. And so we got to do big things. And so as Rufus said, the first thing you can give is give it to yourself, right? Because if you don't say I am, nobody's going to say thou art. That's why you see the little billy goat, right? The small one. After some time, will just jump up. You say, if you don't throw yourself up, who will throw you up? So Liberians, come join us at the CNN Center and let's throw Liberia up. I also want to remind you tomorrow we have our shows coming up right here. Focus on Liberia. The chairman of the LPP, that's the Liberian People's Party, Mr. Yangwa Zeze, will be our guest on the Hour of Politics. And on Wednesday at 7, Mr. Nimlan Tuan, a staunch supporter of Mr. Cummings, is going to be here to talk about the fallout from the Team Cummings 2023 selection. You sure don't want to miss it. At this time, we're going to go around the room and talk about just your concluding statement and what people need to know before they go to this event. We really want to know who's coming. We also want people to RSVP and everything about the event and why people should support LEDI. Let me start with Fode. We go to Rufus and then Joanne. We want Joanne to close us because...
Well, first of all, this is my first time on the show, and I just want to say thank you very much, Brother Jad, for giving up this platform. And I want to encourage all Liberians and all Americans to continue to support this show. I think it's a great platform for all of us, and I will continue to be a subscriber and continue to support the cause over here. So thank you very much. And again, we want to say to all Liberians or all Americans to please join hands with us. This is not about Rufus and Joanne. I mean, there's somebody have to initiate. That's what they did. They started the project, and then it's getting bigger and bigger because they're doing it for the homeland. And that's why we are here to join hand in. So we encourage all of you guys to join us starting from the 29th. Come to Atlanta and then join the events and support the good cause for Liberia. So once again, thank you, Brother Jad, for having us. And we'll be seeing you again.
Yeah, thank you. Nora is also watching, sister-in-law. Thank you for watching. Say hi, Mr. Jad. Let's go to Rufus. Rufus, your closing comments.
Dennis, thank you once again for giving us this opportunity to engage your audience, and thanks. We also want to say thanks to the audience for their engagement and their very, profound, beautiful comments. Like I continue to say, the reason we started LEDI is to make our country better, is to help, to overcome, some of the difficulties that some of us, my story, like you said, Dennis, my story is the story of millions of Liberians who will walk to school 3 hours, even what I did, maybe 40 years ago, things that people are still encountering today. More than likely, Dennis, you and myself, Joanne, Fode, We are all sitting here today because of education. When I look at my life today and look at where I used to be, Dennis, I get terrified.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I here? How did I get here? I got here because of God, and I got here because of education. Because of education, I'm working in areas where I have more visibility and I'm empowered to make people's life better. That same level of education we need to give to Liberians. When my father got killed during the war, and my siblings, I saw immediately that our country was in danger of losing so many people, because those people that killed my, my parents and also inflicted a casualty on our country by killing over 250,000 people and displacing over 300,000 and weakening our country are mostly people who did not have education. They are most people who felt oppressed by a system that did not give them education. But at the end of the day, they did not have that empowerment. You and myself today, Dennis, would never go and pick up arms to go fight anybody, because you look at your job, you make good money, you live in a good house, your children go to good school. You can't look at all of that and destroy them. No, because that's the power of education. That's the power of empowerment. But if you did not have education, you will be fighting, Dennis. So the way to avenge the harm, the casualty that people inflicted on us, is to make people who did those harm to us better, so that they will not inflict harm on other people, not to go and hurt them, but to make them better. So this event we are having, we are encouraging everybody to come. Liberia is the only country we have. We can disagree, but we are all Liberians. And you should be sick and tired of people saying, this country is better than your country, and other people picking other countries before your country. Give your country a library that will be better than libraries in other countries. Give your country a bicentennial program at the CNN that you will attend, that other people will see and say, wow, Liberians are awesome people. We are appealing to the consciousness of our people. Come to that event, Dennis. Let's encourage everybody, because we're not doing it for Joanne and myself. Joanne, myself, and I will soon leave you, Dennis. But this organization, we always tease ourselves, Joanne and myself. This is like our first child. We have put this child, we have bought diapers, we have put it through elementary school, through college, through high school, now college. That is, Dennis, our money. Personally, we spend so much of our personal income on this organization, doing things for LEDI and the construction more than we would do for our personal life, all because we love our country. We want our country to have something of value that other people will cherish. We are calling other people, every Liberian, to join us on this journey. And we thank everyone that have been supporting us for the bicentennial and annual international work event, like Erica, like Fode, like all our board members and our volunteers. And I know Joanne will say all of that. And, our counterparts just everywhere. I will stop right here. I can go all night, but I will stop right here.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanne. And by the way, Rufus is the president, and then we have Joanne now. So we like the ball. In Liberia, you like to put the president first, but at the board. So our board chair will speak last.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, the president works for the board.
Yeah.
So you're correct. No, but thank you so much for having us tonight. So much has been said, and we've poured out our hearts. There's a focus on Liberia piece, and there's the Liberia economic development piece. As we focus on Liberia tonight, we want to encourage all Liberians to be a part of something spectacular, which is the gift of literacy coming to Liberia. There are very few people who have the opportunity to give something that can literally change the trajectory of a nation. And we are in that position this time. Our grandkids can remember us for being a part of giving Liberia the first modern public library and technology center, where anybody, no matter who you are, your background, if you have money, if you don't have money, you can go and you can enrich yourself. That's what this thing is about. It's about the future. On the Liberia economic development side, our organization is comprised of amazing people throughout the world who are helping us to reduce poverty and change lives in Liberia. And to all of those people, who many of which are not Liberian, many of them, some of them are not African Americans, they're all strides. We want to say thank you. Thank you, because God can use anybody to help Liberia. We're hoping that Liberians, African Americans, Americans, Europeans, one of our brothers on the chat said he's in South Korea. Kamsahamnida. Thank you for joining us. Whoever you are, be a part of this historic journey of giving Liberia the gift of literacy. I do want to remind you that, again, the event will be held the last Saturday of October, October 29th, at the Omni at CNN Center. Please give, please attend, please support. But it's not whenever you feel like it. By this Friday, make a decision to be a part. We need your RSVP by the 15th of this month to know that you're coming. Call a friend. Tell them we have to go. This is not a political event. It's an enrichment and empowerment event. It's one to lift up Liberia and the work of Liberia economic development, and to honor people who are doing amazing work, to know that if they can do it, an ordinary Joe like me, I can do it too. So we know that you will leave encouraged, empowered, and inspired to do more. And with that, we say thank you. Brother Jai, thank you for your time. To our other panelists, I want to say thank you to Brother Fode, who has been a tremendous brother and asset in this journey. I want to tell Rufus, my partner in progress, thank you so much. And Brother Jai for providing a platform where people can share these messages and clear up any misunderstandings. Some people don't understand. And this is an opportunity to provide understanding and to bring people together. So we thank you for the platform.
And Erica.
And last but not least, Erica did have to drop. We want to thank her partnership through the Atlanta Board of Education. They have done tremendous and they desire to do more, and we encourage that. So we thank everyone who's a part of this, all of our sponsors and those to come, all the friends of LEDI, the board of directors of LEDI. We say thank you.
Thank you so much. Conscious Cookie Monster say, if Liberia wants Black Americans to invest in their country, then offer us dual citizenship. Offer us all this and you get millions in investment dollars. Conscious Cookie Monster, we need to talk. Dual citizenship is now law in Liberia, and anyone of Negro descent can be citizen of Liberia. Good news. Well, Joanne, Rufus, Fode, and Erica, I want to thank you all so much for your time and coming here to talk about LEDI. Liberia is the country for all of us, and we should do our best to make it what we want it to be. It was if we have our own will, right? You could choose. I was not going to be born maybe in Dudwicken, right? Maybe I'm going to be born to because Bill Clinton and the wife got only one child. Maybe I'm going to be their boy child, right? But we can't choose where we are born. We're born in Liberia. Liberia is our country. The country has gone through so much, and there is so much. It will interest you that we have the Liberia History Channel here on Focus on Liberia. Right now, we are discussing the presidents, and we are on the third president. It's amazing what those before us were able to accomplish, and that's why we are here today. You can say everything you want to say about them. There is no perfect way to start a country. But what they did, if somebody even planted one tree, and that tree is able to provide shelter or oxygen to one person, that's big. And so we want to celebrate all of you that are trying to give back to our country. Here at Focus on Liberia, we never conclude a broadcast without playing the song that says, we are all Liberians. Because whether you are Gala, Bassa, Kran, Pele, Mandingo, we are all Liberians. Whether you are from the upper class, middle, lower class, we are all Liberians. Whether you support this party or that party, we are all Liberians. what is incumbent upon all of us is to make Liberia the glorious land of liberty, so we can all sing about the sweet Liberia that we all dream of. Have a good night, and God bless you. We are all Liberian people.
We are Liberian. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.